Last week, Kristen Cole spends his entire final scene demanding a glorious one-on-one duel and gets shot with 3 arrows instead. This week, Aegon Targaryen basically gives the same "let me die like a warrior" speech, but this time he actually gets saved by his dragon. This is Watchers on the Couch Too Long Didn't Watch, our pre-episode episode for listeners who can't be bothered to keep up with the show or just need a quick refresher before the real discussion drops. It's very high level. It's very brief. Here's what happened. In the Red Keep, Rhaenyra wakes up Helena, demanding to know what her prophetic dreams have shown about the war. Helena barely gives her anything and points out pretty directly that having 6 dragons has changed Rhaenyra, whether she admits it or not. In Harrenhal, Aemon is visited by his mother, Alicent, except it isn't her. It's Alice Rivers using some kind of illusion to look like Alicent, or some kind of dream thingy or something. But things get uncomfortably intimate before Aemon realizes what happens and bolts. Then, moments later, the real Alicent actually does show up at Harrenhal's gate, escorted by a Kingsguard knight who Aemon kills on sight rather than trust a stranger with Harrenhal secrets. That night, Alicent, Aemon, and Alice sit through an extremely awkward dinner where Aemon announces he's staying at Harrenhal for good with Alice to found a new line of Targaryen kings. Alicent isn't having this. She poisons Aemon's wine, and he collapses at Alice's feet. Aemon gets one real quiet moment first. He confesses to his mother that he tried to kill his own brother Aegon on purpose. She tells him that she already knew. In the Vale, Daemon learns that Rhaena has been secretly hiding out, riding the wild dragon Sheepstealer, the same dragon Rhaenyra blames for killing her son Jace. He's known and covered for her this whole time. We knew that, but the secret comes out when Rhaenyra and Adam of Hull track them down and turns into a 4-dragon standoff, with Syraxes, Syrax, Seasmoke, and Sheepstealer all snapping into each other, while Rhaenyra, Daemon, and Rhaena have it out on the ground. Rhaena gets brought back to King's Landing and reconciles with her sister Baela. Rhaenyra is a lot less forgiving with Daemon about being lied to. In King's Landing, Mysaria positions herself as the unofficial go-between for the small folk now that Rhaenyra has stopped hearing petitions, and gets called out by an old friend for how much she's changed since getting close to the throne. Later that night, she and Rhaenyra sleep together. At Rook's Rest, Aegon, Larys, and Tywin Lannister gets cornered by an army hunting for Tywin. Larys flees, promising to write a song about it. Aegon refuses to run as a fugitive, draws his sword, and gives a full speech proclaiming himself to be the true king, right as Sunfire, his dragon everyone assumed was dead, wink wink, emerges from the trees very much alive and burns the entire army. And then in Tumbleton, Ormond Hightower's real endgame is revealed. It was never about holding Corlys hostage, which Corlys is alive being held hostage. It's actually Ulf the White that Ormond's been quietly buttering up for weeks. He offers Ulf the Castle of Driftmark and the title Lord of the Tides in exchange for turning on Rhaenyra and Daemon. Ulf takes the deal. So this episode keeps circling around one idea, power changing people, whether they want to admit it or not. Rhaenyra gets called out for it by her own sister, and then spends a whole hour proving it. Mysaria gets it from an old friend, and in the end, it's not just the Targaryens, it's Ulf the White getting flattered right out of his loyalty by a man who can't stand him. But the moment everyone's actually going to be talking about is Sunfire. After weeks of is he alive, is he dead, the show finally answers it in the most... well, in a way, triumphant for Aegon, I guess, right as Aegon's hitting his lowest point. There's a funny split this week. There's one outlet calling this the best episode of the season. Another is calling it the messiest, most inconsistent episode the whole franchise has ever put out. Same episode we're talking about, same week. We've got opinions on what side we're leaning, and especially on that Aemon, Alicent, and Alice scene, specifically these names. Not saying it yet, that's what Thursday is for. Send us your reactions while it's fresh. Mailbag at watchersonthecouch.com, especially regarding what you think about Sunfire's return and your opinions on the reveal that Ulf is going to be a turncoat. We want to hear it before we record. Full discussion with all of our theories and nonsense drops on Thursday. Follow or subscribe so it doesn't get buried like whatever's left of that poor guy that helped Alicent get to Harrenhal. Bye.